Hello and welcome to another Mirelia tutorial. Today we are finally going to talk about some Mirelia graphics and application loops. Uh, why about the application loops too? Well, unfortunately we cannot render graphics without using it. Or we can, but not utilizing the Mirelia functions and methods will just make it far easier. So the first thing I'm going to talk about will be the application loop. So most of the console applications you create in C++ or anything in normal compilers you learn, uh, we we make an infinite loop like that while true, and I don't know what to say, like console log hello. This is how would that go, but not in this case. Look, if we boot it like that, our tab is going to hang. Look, it does not respond. It just crashed. Okay, it just crashes. It just hangs. So we cannot use that. But what we are going to do instead, we are going to make an application loop. So in order to make an application loop, what we need to do is to make two underscores and then write application loop, just like that, all in uppercase, out of 0. This is our function, and yes, it's a function, not a method. It's not utilizing any class, but just remember about these two underscores, and it's all in capitals. So let's open up our site. I did not save that, my fault. Let's open it up, and as you can see, it's loaded. It does not crash, but obviously it doesn't do anything. Okay, what do we need to do will be to create some application, not loop, but content, and this is going to be an override of an existing function that just does nothing. It does nothing by default, but we are going to alter it so it would write hello to the console every frame. So syntax error, great. I didn't specify it like that. This is going to update every frame, okay? So 60 frames per second. This is going to make 60 updates per second, and it writes hello 60 times per second. Oh, and of course, our clients would not want to see that. This is not a client would want to see. So let's just dispose of it, because what non-programmer would want to look into the console. So what are we going to do is to create a new canvas element of ID just canvas width of 60 pixels, 600 pixels, height of also 600 pixels, and we are going to style a border at 2 pixel solid black, not dotted, solid black border. We are just going to create some canvas. Let's see if it's writing correctly. Yeah, we've created some canvas, but we want to draw something. So we want to load an image too. So we are going to create a new image. Let's say that we want to just draw the logo of the framework of source image.png. Of course, there's no closing tag on this, and of ID of just an image. So we want to finally draw it. So we want to, you may want to use the method Mirelia.sprite, and this takes 4 arguments. The first one is the name of our canvas. Yeah, it's a string. We are not getting it by ID. For X and Y we are going to specify 100 because it starts drawing at left top corner, and also we want an image element from ID for it to draw. Of course, we are going to pass in our image ID. It should do the trick. Let's take a look. Yeah, our logo has been successfully drawn here. Here, look, it is drawn at our canvas, but there are 2 problems with this, unfortunately. The first one is obviously that we loaded it without hiding it. So there is one bad way of doing it. What we would want to do is to style it. Display hidden. Display none. And it works, we can still see it, but we are not actually going to do this. In fact, we are not even going to bother with HTML for this one. What we want to do is to declare it. Remember, before the application content, we want to make it as a variable, let's say image, and we want to use a method called Mirelia.loadImage. Just like that, we want to load an image. We are going to supply an ID just in case, and image.png is the file name. It just needs to be next to our index.html file, and now we may load it as a variable. It works correctly. Our image is invisible. It is still written as an HTML tag, but as you can see, it's styled as not displayed normally in our document and only used with that. But this is the smaller problem. The worst problem occurs when we want to translate it. It's clearly visible. Let's say that we want to, no, not here. Let's create a variable called a and just give it a starting value of 0 and translate it from position 0, 0 like this. So when we start out our application, we can see that it does something that we certainly don't want to see. But how to fix it? How to fix the problem that it does not, that it wraps on screen like that? We are going to use another method called @everyUpdate that of the name refresh. We are going to refresh something, but what What do we want to refresh? We want to refresh our canvas, again from string, not from an element variable, but from a string. And look, our object is now working correctly, and even if we want to like create multiple sprites, we want to draw more of them. Look, I'm now drawing two descending logos. We can. Now, of course, we can also make some transforms on our image. We may want to, for example, stretch our sprite so that it would still appear in 100, but this time with a width of 200 by 200 pixels. And sure enough, we can stretch it like this. Let's say this time we want to draw it at 0, 0. Why? Because I'm going to show you that another pretty cool feature with our framework. So unlike unlike most of the draw-based like game engines or graphics libraries, it works well with for loops, so we wouldn't have any issues with using for loops and any loop. While loop would work too. So let's say that we want to just draw it 9 times, and sure enough it draws 9 times without any problems. Look, we have just drawn our logo 9 times without any problems. But if for some reason we would want to draw just a little bit of our image, we can also use sprite part. I think that it was sprite part. Yeah, it's sprite part. No, it's sprite partial. Actually, sprite partial. We want to draw a part of our sprite, but this time we want to, like for example, draw only the middle part, 100 of 200 pixels and 200 pixels. We are only going to draw a little bit of our sprite, and sure enough it only returned the very center of our sprite. Of course, if we change it to 0, 0, we will only draw this little corner of a sprite. There's one more function to it. We are also going to draw a sprite, rotated sprite. Rotated sprite. Yeah, I forgot about showing you the documentation, unfortunately, but here you go. Let's say that we want to draw a rotated image by 90 degrees. Yeah, that's right, degrees, not the we will draw by degrees. We can rotate our sprite, but unfortunately our axis is a little bit translated, so we need to like count it. We need to count it, so let's say that we need to like subtract some numbers. uh, in order for it to work correctly. This is unfortunately not a perfect function. So what was that? 300 would work fine, right? No, even this function unfortunately requires some thinking and testing because before it works, yeah, it's 400. That would be 400 pixels for this default transform, and if we were to rotate it by 90 degrees, yeah, this is how we are now. Here we go, 180 degrees, because it actually uses the center this time for drawing. So that's about our rotation, but you may want to, for example, animate it. So let's bring our a variable back to life and draw it in 8 degrees this time. But this time we are going to increment our variable every time, and if a is 360, we are going to bring it back to 0. And look, our logo is now rotating. Great! So we have finally created some kind of graphical interface, some graphics, but graphics is not everything, as you may want to draw some text. So we're going to use one more method, Mirelia draw text. We would want to draw some text on our canvas. Let's say that we would want to say, I don't know, Mirelia, my first Mirelia application, and let's say that we want to center this text, so 332 would be our coordinates, and we are going to draw it in center, in the center, just like in other application that draws graphics element. It takes some special form of the align variable. So this time we are going with an with something that would work in HTML. And why didn't it work? Let's see. So our text did not work because we did not specify a font. We also need to specify a font using also an HTML string, let's say 32 pixels, Calibri, our everyday Calibri, and it works. Yeah, we've got our text. It's obviously not available for marking or anything, but it finally works. Oh, of course, we also can draw in color. So let's say that we want to write some red text. So we also need to specify a hex code as a string. And I messed up the order on this one. This needs to be after the align, doesn't it? No, I confused the method names. We need to call it color, and yeah, it works like this. First the hex code and then the alignment. Yeah, it worked fine. It displays red. We can also use HTML colors, I think. Yes, it works. We can also use some constants like this one, and it works just fine. So we know how to draw text. We want to you can also like draw some stroke text. Let's see. You can draw stroke text. Yeah, that's right. You can also write some stroke text, but it would be used more rarely. However, we are also going to discuss one more better function. We are also going to take advantage, no, not a function, a method, where you can also make some progress bars for your applications. Like, I don't know, if you have a session and make like some bar that would indicate when a session would end, we can also make use of some progress bars. We want to create a horizontal bar on our canvas that would be green, and yeah, this is a string, and the bar itself would be black, and we want to draw it at and we want it to be 400 pixels wide, so we are going to start it at 100. Let's say it would be 32 pixels wide, so also 32, and the progress would be, let's start with 50%. So let's draw our bar just like this, and yeah, we've got our bar, our progress bar. Let me just make it, translate it a little bit. If we were about to write false here, this is automatically going to create a vertical bar instead. Look, this created a vertical bar. So yeah, let's just stick with the traditional horizontal one. So what do we want to do more? Because yeah, we want to do more. We want to actually make it automate it a little bit. So let's let a new variable be, and we also want to increment it, but only if it's smaller than 100. Fair enough, it works. It loads up to 100. We've got our progress bar filled. Yeah, we can use it like this. If you can also make it the other way around, like this. You can deflate it instead. Look at this. Unfortunately, it lifts a little bit here. Yeah, but I want to show you one more method that's going to be very useful. So we are going to use this yet another method called set canvas. We are going to set some default canvas. Yeah, we want to set some default canvas, and this canvas will be stored in some variable called Mirelia.defctx. This is going to be a variable that would store our default canvas and draw it just like this. it's a preferred way because it will be used in game scenes and others, mainly game features. And do I have anything more to show you? Yes, we are actually going to make some functional applications. So let's see that we want to rotate our that we want to rotate it, rotate our rotating logo with some buttons. So let's create two buttons of unclick content. We want to do some function. Yeah, we need to specify a function for this. So let's say that we were making a function a new function change a and yes, I know that this function is useless, but for buttons it just must exist. Okay, a plus equals a underscore a. See that we would want to rotate it 45 degrees plus 45 degrees. But this is not the correct place to make this button, of course. So we may want to make it just like this. And just like stop the incrementation and everything. And yeah, we can now rotate it manually. I know that yet again it's not too useful, but does it really have to be useful? We may also, like, I don't know, apply it to no, we are not going to bother anymore. I think we know everything about it so far. We can finally, like, rotate it manually. We have finally created some graphical interface for our application, and this is just about it. So in the next tutorial we are going to work with sound files. So I hope that it made some methods clear, and goodbye.